Round one.
Welcome back to Inside Boxing's ThrowDown. My name is Steve Johnson. It's Aurelio Martinez. This is our end of year show. As you can see in the background, we've got our festive.
It's all festive.
Christmas
nice.
tree. You know, in Denver, Colorado, it's a nice sunny day right now. It's about 35 degrees out there. It's kind of a
But it's sunny.
oh man, but it's a heat wave for us.
But
Everybody
it's
knows
sunny.
we've been in a deep freeze here for a while. So anyway, we're going to get right to it. Our end of year show, and we have some topics that we want to touch on. Hopefully, you guys have been paying attention to them. We know we have.
Yo, man.
And what we're going to do today is we're going to have what we call our own versions of the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2016.
That's right. That's right.
And we have a lot of each one of them, but Aurelio suggested we start off with the ugly.
Start
So,
backwards.
That's
Start
right.
with ugly and then
And
the
it
bad.
end up to the good.
And then we'll end up with the good stuff.
And then we'll end up talking about a few of the exciting things that we see are possible for 2017. So, on that note, Aurelio, let's start off with the ugly. What is your ugly topic you'd like to hit first?
You know, Steve, if you see, considering we're taking the entire year of
Mhm.
2016, because there was a lot of ugly in boxing. There always
Most
is a lot of
definitely.
ugly in boxing. But if we're talking about what transpired in the entire year, I would almost have to say it has to be the heavyweight division in general, because the heavyweight division has turned ugly.
Very ugly.
It just has turned ugly. I mean, everybody's juicing. I mean, you know, they know they got to be tested, but yet they seem to think that they're not going to get caught, and everyone's juicing. I mean, it's like no more hard work in the gym, no more putting the time in. You know, the money has gone way up. You know, back in the old days when the money wasn't real big, and you had the Muhammad Ali's, the Joe Frazier's, the
Ken
Norton's, and
Ron Lyle.
Ron Lyle's, all them guys. You
Yeah.
know, they trained hard and they fought hard, and the question was never brought up. Nowadays, I don't know if I want to call them lazy, but they're lazy. They're lazy, and they think taking a shot or doing something to kind of cheat to enhance their performance is the way to go.
Well, you
and
know,
it's gotten ugly. It's gotten ugly.
Well, let me disagree with you on one thing. I think that the advent of juice in sports all over is because of, as you said, the money has gotten so big that bigger, faster, stronger has taken over. Those guys that juice aren't lazy; they work. I just think that that added the performance enhancing. It gives them a little more stamina. It gives them a little more muscle. It gives them better hand-eye coordination. The whole thing.
I don't
And
know.
so-
I don't know why they may, and I don't know. But
I wouldn't call them lazy.
I
is what I'm
I
saying.
just get the feeling that they just don't work and put in the time as the little guys. Because you know I'm involved with boxing every day, and I see heavyweights, and I see the little guys, and the determination and the work ethics. You can't compare them. Man. You just can't. I mean, now I know there's probably a few that do put in the time and the hard work, but just overall, it seems like, you know, first of all, they don't want to fight anyone.
Mhm.
Okay, they don't want to fight anyone. That's become pretty common ground in all the weight divisions, just in professional boxing in itself. Is nobody wants to fight anyone. Protect my record. You know, and just to throw off some names, you remember we were very high on some of the heavyweights. Joseph Parker Jr. Out in New Zealand.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, everything coming up, man. The guy looked like a monster. Is fighting hard. Now he gets to a point where he's become a household name, and he don't want to fight anybody. Okay, and that's not only him; it's everyone. It's the heavyweights in general. They just don't want to fight. Look at the guy that was supposed to fight Shannon Buchanan. Okay. David Hay. I mean, he sat there in the press release and says, "You win your fight, and you're next." Okay, well now all of a sudden, he must have been listening to Roy Jones Jr. because he must have forgot. Okay.
Well, it's funny that you it's funny that you say that because we have one guy in the heavyweight division that I don't mind saying it. I thought that he would turn up positive at some point. Shannon the Cannon Briggs, and Shannon has not tested positive. Like you said back in May, David Hayes said that, you know, because everybody remembers when Shannon flew across over there to England to just bust up that David Hay press conference.
He sure did.
And David Hayes said, "You win your fight in May." and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So not only does Shannon win his fight, he knocks his cat out in the first round.
You know what? Shannon's one of them guys where he's on a mission,
and he's dangerous.
He's dangerous, and he's on a mission. And you know from our past and previous shows, I've always been a Shannon the Cannon fan. I just like a boxer with his determination, his get up and go, and I mean, what more can you ask for?
But it's funny because all of you people remember as the radio talked about Shannon, I laughed because you remember how he followed Klitschko around and slapped food out of his mouth and then got in the water and rode by him and splashed water on him and everything. But you know what? On a serious note, there's no heavyweight that is saying the name Shannon Briggs. They don't want no part of him.
They don't want no part of him.
And he's not testing positive, so that makes it even more crazy to me. All these other guys, and let's name names. Povetkin, Lucas Brown, who else do we have? Tyson Fury, Bermain Stiverne. These are guys that tested positive before they have a title fight.
Oh yeah.
It's a world title fight and they test positive. So
this becomes the
norm.
Normal in their training. Go into the locker room, take a shot. And then go do your workout. It's become ridiculous.
It really has.
You don't see the old things like when Muhammad Ali went up over here to Monaco Street and went up to Sonny Liston's house and
you young guys don't even
started the ruckus. There were ruffians, man. There were ruffians back in them days, and I mean it made the sport genuine.
Mm-hmm. The sport's
it's not genuine anymore in the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not.
What was that? When you remember my favorite one of the days was when Larry Holmes went over and he beat up. Remember the guy that he jacked his eye all up? He jumped over the car. I can't remember his name right now, but it was like, hey man, this is crazy,
that's and the stuff was for real. I mean,
it was for real.
Boxers either had a grudge against each other in the heavyweight back in them days, or they were downright scared of one another. I mean, it was true boxing.
Now on Ugly, let me touch on another thing for Ugly. We had a thing this year in USA Boxing. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, let me go. 2016, as you all know, was Olympic year. We had United States actually had one bronze medalist and had one silver medalist that came from. But the talk of the games was the scandal involving AIBA, and AIBA actually sent home a whole crew of judges, and including in that was sent home at that time the executive director Kareem Bouzidi was sent home with him as part of they said they just wanted to check things out and verify. Long story short, we have Mike Conlon from Ireland.
Ireland, yep.
Lost his fight as he predicted that they were going to cheat him, and he stepped up to the podium and he
didn't hold back.
He didn't hold back one bit. Okay, and the reason I mention this is because I'm leading into the fact that just a few weeks ago, we had USA Boxing President John Brown and USA Boxing as a whole. They approved the new executive director. Mike Martino was the executive director.
Yeah.
He stepped down. He had let it be known that after the Olympics he was stepping down, and he carried to the end of the year. But they named a guy, Mike McAtee.
Oh yeah.
Who was a former cop or detective in Kansas. He was given a position that was created by John Brown or USA Boxing or both.
The president,
of
USA Boxing.
It was called the Director of Boxing Operations. He was given that job back in June. Now he's been elevated to Executive Director of USA Boxing. Now let me say this. I don't care about him, being put in a created position and then moving up. But every organization that is a nonprofit organization, which USA Boxing is supposed to be, we all know that your executive director has to be someone who's proliferant and known nation or either worldwide in fundraising. I've found nothing in the background of Mike McAtee remotely involving fundraising. And United Boxing and USA Boxing right now claims to all their membership, we have no money.
Well, his background isn't fundraising. His background isn't even boxing. I mean, he's been with the organization 6 months?
6 months.
6 months, and all of a sudden now he's going to be the head cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a paid position and it pays very well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep this segment going.
Yes.
I know we got 10 seconds, so we'll keep this segment going because I want to touch off on that. And
But let me just say this, because as you said, the executive director of USA Boxing is a paid position. The president, John Brown, is not a paid position.
No.
Okay, so, but you have your guy who's not paid. The president recommends, and it's approved by the board to have this guy, who is a friend of his. Once again, not a problem.
Well,
if it all bounces.
He's from Kansas City, right?
Kansas.
Yeah. And Kansas, yeah.
And so it's you know, it just reeks of nepotism. You know, and there's no other way to put it. But once again, the USA Boxing membership as a whole has nothing to say.
Well, you know, it's always been broken, and I've been very vocal on that. Extremely vocal. I've always said USA Boxing has been broken. It was even broken before it was called USA Boxing, when it was called
America,
whatever it was. But they went belly up, bankrupt, and they shut down for a little time, and then they came back up under the name of USA Boxing. But nothing changed. It's still broken. It's just a broken situation there that they really and truly put it out there that we do this for the kids, and their actions don't speak what their mouths are saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it never has been that way. So you know, Steve, that's the only reason why 5 years ago I was enticed to bring up the organization USBL, simply for that reason, because it's easy to have a better way for the boxers in the United States. The boxers in the United States have really fallen off the planet. I mean, when you want to talk about good amateurs turning pro, you have to go way back to Sugar Ray and Evander Holyfield and all them days. And Tyson, you know, when them days, and them days are gone, and they're not coming back.
Nope.
Not the way this organization is running. They're not coming back. You know, the best thing that can happen to USA Boxing is they can fold.
Well,
I mean, really, honestly, that's really what has to happen. And the truth of the matter is, and I know we're getting off topic, but real quick, the truth of the matter is, all across the country, and I'm not just saying our organization USBL, which is now doing amateur bouts without the sanctioning of USA Boxing, because we just ignored him now. But it's happening all across the country. In Las Vegas, they've been doing them amateur boxings, which brings in all them clubs up there. You know, Barry's clubs,
That's right. Richard Steele's,
Richard Steele's club. They all participate in all these amateur boxing events that are not sanctioned by USA Boxing. They can care less about boxing. Mm-hmm. So now this is going to happen all across the country. We bring amateur boxers in to fight and prepare them for a run at professional. I mean, so hopefully it's going to come back, but it's not going to come back through the road of USA Boxing. I mean, that's just.
And everybody knows that I've tried my best to defend USA Boxing. Even with you, we've gone, and now I'm done. I really am done defending USA Boxing. They have shown exactly what true colors are, and so now there's no other alternative for me but to hold their feet to the fire on every opportunity that I get, and you believe I will.
Well, that's a good one. So there you go, the ugly.
That's right.
AIBA, USA Boxing, amateur boxing in this country,
the heavyweight division
in the
with
world,
all of these,
and exactly
all of these producers, and
they get our ugly.
They get our ugly.
They get our ugly stamp.
Okay, there it is for the ugly. Go get your some more popcorn, get a fresh soda, and we will be right back, and we'll move into the good for 2016.
We're coming back with
the good.
No, the bad.
The bad. And that's right. Last will be the good. That's
okay.
Right. Okay.
Meanwhile, any comments on this episode here, just feel free to send it to editor@insideboxing.com. Okay?
You got it.
We'll address it. See you in a bit.
All right.
Steve.
Hey.
Till our next one.
Keep your hands up, baby. Keep them up.